How has he got up to that fee?
I'll be hearing Florian squirts after 5 minutes if he hasn't scored.
I'd say your one is definitely a bad deal.
So maybe Arnie Slot.
Well, this is why you lot are getting ripped off.
Oh my word, he's gone 100. Yes, people, welcome back to DR Sports. You know what time it is. It's silly season. It's transfer season. So today we're playing a game of good deal, bad deal. Good deal, bad deal. With my very esteemed guest here, Mr. Robbie Lyle. How are we, fella?
Well, if I'm here, it's a good deal.
Well, if you're here, it's a good deal.
Good deal.
Right, smash that like button, get your comments in, react to our opinions. We will be going through 6 or 7 of the transfers that have already happened this summer and a couple that are rumoured to be happening. And as you can see, big pile of cash on the table. We've got 5 millions, we've got 20s. We're going to be going through these players and telling you our opinion on how much we think these players are worth, and then we'll be giving it the old good deal, bad deal.
If only this was my bank account, man.
Yeah, you're telling me, right? Imagine, just imagine. Right, as you can see, we've got the stacks of money. We've got the players here ready. Let's get on with it. First one, AGT on a 2-year deal for DR Sports contract extension. Is that a good deal, bad deal? Is that? Oh, it's just one note, just 50 quid. The comments can, it's a bad deal. A bad deal at 50 quid?
50 quid,
Jesus.
good deal.
I must be doing something wrong if it's a bad deal for 50. Right, the first name that we will be talking about today on Good Deal, Bad Deal is Florian Wirtz to Liverpool for £127 million. Robbie, last season, 10 goals, 12 assists. Just like Mo Salah, he was one of the only players in Europe to get 10 and 10. In the Champions League, 9 matches, 6 goals, 1 assist, 22 years old. Highly regarded as one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. You've got the cash in front of you. You've seen the fee that has been agreed between Leverkusen and Liverpool. But how much do you think he's worth?
10 goals, 12 assists, what, in the Bundesliga?
Yes, in 31 matches, which averages out to be 22 goals and assists in 31 matches. Don't forget, used as a false 9. For a few games with Xabi Alonso. But what do you think he's worth? And I'll match you. Or maybe I'll go more.
Right, I'm going to go what I think he's worth.
What you think he's worth?
All right, I'm going to make, let's say...
Going to make an offer?
Make an offer, 40, 60...
Oh, he's splashing the cash.
80...
He's getting the cash out. Ooh.
I think he's worth about 85 million.
85 mil.
Yeah, I think he's worth it. I really do think. Listen, don't get me wrong. He's an absolute top quality player, and if he was coming to Arsenal, I wouldn't care what they're paying. Yeah. I'd be like Liverpool fans, where it says whatever, just pay it, right? It's not my money. But if it was my money, I'm like, 85 million. Cherky went for 30 million. You know, 85
so you're going
million. I think is a good price for him.
Right. What I
100.
Can't do,
how has he got up to that fee? I mean, I know, obviously, he's Germany's biggest name, I guess. Or is he? Musiala, I'd say, would be ahead of him. So, how has he got to 120-odd million? I just feel that, 85 would be enough.
You're going 85, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll slap down a little cheeky 20. We'll have 40. We'll go 60. We'll go 80. And you've done 85, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll go 100, and I'm basing that off of the recent £100 million transfers, which do include Declan Rice, which do include Jack Grealish, which do include Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. So do you know what? Cheeky little 5 there. We'll whack that on. And listen, I can't sit here and say I know without question, without any doubt in my mind, that he is worth 127 million. I can't say that because, yes, I've seen him in person a few times. I watched him in the Europa League final last season. They lost 3-0 to Atalanta. I've seen him at Anfield. He lost 4-0 with Xabi Alonso. And there's no doubt as well that he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. And it isn't my money. We've said that already. But 127 mil, considering our first bid was 105. That's what our first bid was, and then it's been pushed to 109, 113, 118. Obviously, there's add-ons in. I think it's 118 with potential 9 million in add-ons.
It's expensive.
And I could do the whole 125 here, but I think until I see him in that red shirt, and again we spoke about on the show today, the instant pressure to hit the ground running is going to be there, not just from Liverpool fans. It's going to be rival fans all over the place. If he has a stinker, I'll be hearing Florian squirts after 5 minutes if he hasn't scored. So I will go 105 million. I think the same price as Declan Rice, and I think that will turn out to be a good deal.
I think 85 million would be a good deal.
So you're saying 105 bad deal? Is that what you're saying?
It's going to be more than that. I do feel that that's too expensive.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna say 105 is a good deal. But you made a good case when you compare him to those other players like Enzo, Caicedo, Declan Rice, all of those went Grealish.
Yeah.
I think that would be a reasonable
About
price.
105.
Yeah, I'll say good deal on 105.
105. I've said 105. You've reluctantly agreed to
I
that.
agreed to 105.
So we'll go that. There you go. That's a good deal, we think, anyway. Right, next up. You've mentioned him already, Robbie. Right. And people will mention him. They've got every right to mention him in this category of an attacking central midfielder, young, got European experience, very technically gifted, plays for his national team now. It's Ryan Cherki to Manchester City for an alleged £34 million, £6 million in add-ons, 15% sell-on fee, 30 matches in the league, 8 goals, 11 assists. In the Europa League, 12 matches, 4 goals, but 8 assists, so a goal or an assist every game. I think 3 of those were against Manchester United, which I was definitely cheering him along for then. I won't be cheering him next season. 21 years old, contract runs now until 2030. £34 million is the release clause.
Absolute steal.
We might as well both get the old cash out now.
I'm thinking him. This is what I think he's worth, really. 40, 50 million.
50.
I think 50 million he was worth. They got him cheap. That's a great bit of business by Man City. Really is.
Because he was rumoured to be going to a couple of clubs, and then Man City went, hang on, is that it? That's the release clause.
Arsenal should have done it as well.
You should have done it
50
as well.
mil.
Do you know what?
Maybe you should have done it.
Well, time will tell, because just like when we got Núñez and when they got Haaland, that was the instant comparison. Now, all season long, whether we like it or not, it's going to be Cherki and Wirtz. That's going to be the comparison. So I'm going to put down what I actually think he's worth. And I'm going to go 20, 40, 60, 5.
Nah.
Because even if Man City did pay 65, you go...
No. To me, 50, right? I'd say your one is definitely a bad deal, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is that he's still, he's been playing at Lyon. He's still green. You know what I mean? He's still, he's not the finished article yet. He's only just broken into the French team. I think he's just played his first game. He scored a great goal in it, by the way. But he's still, he's still not an established... So I think 50 million would have been a good fee. But listen... They ain't complaining. They got him for even cheaper. Yeah. Although you said there's a 15% sell-on clause in there. There is. That's probably the reason why they did get him that cheap. Right. So if you work it out, that 50 million is a reasonable thing.
Yeah. So you're going 50.
Yeah.
Will I stick with my 65? The thing is,
you're overpaying, man.
The thing is,
that's why
you have to compare it to the current market. And I look at the current market. A player like him in that central position. I mean, Bruno was touted around as how much to go to Saudi?
Yeah, but Bruno's an established player, and that's Saudi.
And he is. And I get what you mean. He's only 21.
Saudi. They'll pay whatever.
But I think even if you did chuck a 65, I still think that would...
No. See, that's why they're charging you so much money for Wirtz.
Oh, so I shouldn't have been the negotiator, basically.
Nah, yeah, but you're negotiating the Wirtz deal for Liverpool as well. Yeah, I mean, that's why they're overcharging you. Yeah?
So what? So you're going 50 is a good deal?
50.
Well, I'll go... Good deal for 65. Let us know in the chat what you think. And they have actually got him for 34, so it's even... Yeah. We should have fantastic deal on here. One even better. Unbelievable. Sold. Right, next up, I have got for you Tijani Rinders to Manchester City once more. 26-year-old midfielder from AC Milan. Very good. Seen bits and bobs of him. Quality player. And AC Milan have done well, actually, in the last few years to get so much money out of the players that they have sold. FFP is probably in a very good position. I've got the figure here, but do you actually know how much City paid for him?
60, wasn't it?
I've got £46.5 million on here. I think it was 60 million euros.
So. That's what I heard, euros, yeah.
But 46.5, I mean, any player that Manchester City get in the midfield is going to be at least 40. Like, if you're selling to Man City... you're probably going to add on a few more quid than he's actually worth.
Yeah.
Again, the stats are decent in terms of what he's accomplished this season. Didn't really work out in Europe. Obviously, the manager has been changed at AC Milan now as well. So the final fee that Man City actually got him for was 46.5. Let's both put down now what we think he's actually worth as a 26-year-old midfielder. I'll be honest.
40.
I'm going to go 30 M's.
I've gone 40.
You tell us why you've gone for 40.
Because he's 26, he's established player, as Dutch international, and a good player, a very good player. Don't know where they're going to play him, right? It's going to be, that's going to be interesting to see where they play him. But I think 40 million, good deal.
Yeah, he
probably played slightly over for him, I reckon.
Came through the came through the ranks at PEC Zwolle, which is actually Arne Slot's hometown. So maybe Arne Slot. Well, that's the only reason I know it. That's the only reason I know it. Then he went to Jong AZ, which is the youth at AZ Alkmaar. Then he was at AZ Alkmaar, played 96 games for them. Went on loan randomly to RKC Waalwijk. And then he went to AC Milan, only 73 games in the league, 13 goals. He did sign a 5-year deal only 2 years ago. So obviously they were allowed to get as much money for him as they could. Was on the list for the Serie A team of the season last year, scored on his debut. But has he torn up enough trees for us to confidently sit here and say that's a bargain? I don't think it. And again, like you said, a great point. Is he going to start every game?
Yeah, probably pay slightly too much for him. I think 40 million's a good deal for him.
So you're going 40?
Good player.
What have I've done 30. And I think that would be a good deal if it was 30.
I think your one's a bad deal.
Right.
Because you wouldn't get him for that.
40 M's.
40 M's, good deal.
All right, fair enough. Let us know in the chat. Is that a good deal or a bad deal for Man City? Don't forget they bought Nico Gonzalez. They've still got midfielders vying for that position in the middle. Where does Shirky play? Where does Marmoush play? There's going to be a whole new midfield.
We have seen Pep before buy players and don't even play them.
That's true.
I mean, what's the name from Leeds?
Calvin Phillips. 50
Phillips.
Mil. Yeah. 50 mil he was.
We've seen him do this before, so it's going to be interesting to see where they play.
Right, next up on our list, again, unfortunately for both of us, is another Manchester City player. They are looking like kind of last season was a relic of a bygone era. They're trying to start this season and almost have everyone forget how poor they were in the league last year. They're buying players of pedigree, of Premier League experience. Ryan Ait-Nouri to Manchester City, £31 million he went for in the end, 24 years old. We know what he's like. We've seen him tear it up for Wolves in the Premier League, heavily linked to Liverpool at one point as well. I was all over this, if I'm honest. I mean, I know we've got Gyokeres and Gyokeres a few years younger than Ait-Nouri, had a great season with Bournemouth as well, so I'm happy with him. But this was definitely an option for pretty much every top club in Europe at left back. Was 4 years at Wolves, 5 years at Wolves. Originally comes from Angers, plays for Algeria, even though he's born in France. So obviously he's gone with his descendancy there. So listen, 31 million. I think what he's actually worth is probably somewhere closer. And again, I'm only going off how much Gyokeres is going to cost and how much your average top flight right or left back costs these days. I'm going to go 45 for what I think he's actually worth.
How long left on his contract? Do you have that one?
Let's have
How
a
long was
look.
left on his Wolves contract?
He signed a new deal in... so when they bought him in 2020, he signed a 4-year deal. Sorry, 5-year deal. The
2026, I think.
So 2026, it would have run out. So he had a year left.
Yeah.
So they could have got him for free next year, but
so to me,
they need him now.
With that in mind, I think 30 million is
more than enough.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
What have I gone for? 45. Bloody hell,
See, you're paying. See, I told you, man. This is why you lot are getting ripped off, right? But for me, yours is a bad deal, right? Because you're overpaying for him. Mine, good deal. You're overpaying.
Maybe the Gyokeres thing is going to tip the market a bit and maybe look out of shape.
Well,
deals.
You're not getting ripped off left, right and centre.
If you just said on paper, if I just said on paper the following: 5'11", age 24, Premier League experience for 5 years, guaranteed to walk into your first team, And if I told you that player, who you don't know the name of, would be 45 mil, you go, yeah, that's about right.
Nah, 30. Contract 1 year left. See, I take all these things into account, you know what I mean? 30 mil's more than enough.
You should work for Arsenal, man.
I do. I wish I did.
So 30 mil you're
in
going
the money
for.
department.
I'll go for... I still think 40's... What have I got?
Bad deal.
I got 45. I think that's a
45,
good
bad deal, man.
No? Okay. All right, fair enough. To be fair, we've got Frimpong for even less than that. Let us know in the chat, good deal or bad deal. That is the whole point of the show. Next up, this is one for you, Rob. Victor Gyokeres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Potential signing for Arsenal. 33 matches in the league last season. 39 goals, 7 assists. Champions League, 8 matches, 6 goals, 1 assist. Don't forget, 3 of those goals were against Man City in the same game. And he missed a penalty in that game, I think, as well. 27 years old. Contract currently lands on 2028. We know there's a bit of a war internally at the minute with Sporting Lisbon and the owner.
Yeah, because they had an agreement with him where he could go for a total of around about 60 million euros, and they've gone back on it.
Yeah.
So...
Always get it in writing, Victor.
Always getting right. Remember Harry Kane when he shook hands with Daniel Levy?
Don't you think the owners, though, they make these like gentlemen's agreements, and then when it comes to it, they're like, not written down, mate.
Exactly.
Like, well, hang on.
They're not gentlemen.
Me and my dad shook your hand in your house.
No, bun that, man.
No?
Oh, I'm pure pop.
Pure pop.
Contract.
So as we know, played for Brighton.
Yep.
Didn't really work out, but it did work out in a big way at Coventry. And if you remember, I was at the Championship playoff final 2 years ago. It was Luton and Coventry. And 2 players stood out to me on that day. One was Victor Gyokeres, who scored. And the other one was Gustavo Hamer, who is now linked, I think, to Leeds. He might get a move back to the Prem. And I actually think he's wasted away in the Championship. I think he's brilliant. So, as we know, and you've been doing countless hours of airtime and content on this, they're looking for around about 67 million. But as we know, the owner is... maybe trying to get nearer to 100. So in your opinion, let's do you first because you're the Arsenal fan. If someone said, right, Robbie, we've got Victor Gyokeres on the phone here. How much, you're in charge of the purse strings, how much do you think Victor Gyokeres is worth, considering everything I've just told you?
Right. The one thing that goes slightly against him is his age, because he's 27 now. And he only just turned 27. He only just turned 27, I think about a week or so ago. Right? For me... right, I know there's release clauses involved and stuff like that, but with his goal-scoring record...
There's 20, 40, 60. Oh, he's whacking at 80. Oh, my word, he's gone 100.
He's worth 100 million.
And is that a good deal?
That is most certainly a good deal. To me, with that goal-scoring record... if, as I said, only really the age goes against him. If we're whacking these big fees on, certain players, he's a striker. Strikers go for a premium. To me, I'm surprised it's this cheap. 100 million would be fair, I'd think.
Yeah,
I think
what the owner wants.
Do you know what it is, right? I think it's because he's. I think even I saw where the president said, "Oh, well, we know we can't get that sort of money for a player coming from Portugal." If he had that goal-scoring record in either La Liga, the Premier League, even France, it'd be 100 million.
Well, the owner of Sporting, the president, hits back at Victor Gyokeres in Transfer Row as Arsenal watch on. He said, "No, never. I didn't promise that."
Yeah, he said that he's not going to succumb to threats and blackmail.
Because we hear that he said, "I can guarantee that Victor Gyokeres will not leave for 60 plus 10 because I never promised him that." Even when pressed about potential offers, Rinders added, "To this day, Sporting has never had an offer for Victor Gyokeres, neither today or last season." And he said it was agreed that Sporting would not demand the release clause at the end of the season, especially because he was going to be 27. You're right, he turned 27 a week ago today. So you've gone 100.
I think he's worth 100 million.
Because, and I'll tell you why I'm reluctant to whack down 100 M's, because I was hoodwinked, bamboozled, perplexed, all the above, when Mr. Darwin Núñez scored 34, right? Gyokeres got 36, Darwin Núñez got 34 for Benfica.
He's done it 2 seasons in a row.
Maybe there's a difference there, but how many goals do you think 36 equates to in the Premier League?
20.
20.
25.
And you take that?
25 goals. And no Arsenal player this season got even into double figures.
Yeah, you take that.
I'm taking that, man. 100
so I'm
million.
going to go 20, 40, 60, 85.
Okay.
And I think you could get him a little bit cheaper than 100 mil.
Probably can, but I'm just going by what I feel.
How much of a gamble is it? And I know we're using the Darwin Núñez almost yardstick as a comparison, but when you look at over the years, I mean, Evan Nilsson's come in and adapted really well to the Prem from Porto.
He's come from Porto.
Yeah, how much of a gamble would it be?
I think he'll score goals in this Premier League. I think, guys, we're talking about a guy who was in the Championship, toughened up in the Championship, right? We've seen players leave that Championship and do like Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, and Mbuemo. They've all done brilliantly. Mitrovic.
Tony.
Right? So for me, he was doing well in that league already. He's gone to Sporting. His goals have made him win the league twice.
Yeah.
This guy is worth... I mean, I think those valuations are only at that because those have been release clauses and things over the years. But I think he'll get goals in this league as well. You know? He's a finisher.
And he's
done it for his country as well.
Yeah,
done it for his country as well.
26 games.
I like him, man. I like him. I would have liked to see Arsenal. They're probably not going to get him, but I would have liked to have seen them sign him. He's a good player.
He actually keeps Isak out of the Sweden team sometimes.
Sometimes as well. Yeah.
Holds
now they've had to resort to playing the two of them as you know, like a 4-4-2.
Yeah. Do you have any doubts that his relationship with Ruben Amorim from Sporting could potentially sway him to go to United over Arsenal?
I think he could. I don't think he'd go to United over Arsenal. No, I think if Arsenal come in for him, he's definitely going Arsenal because Champions League football. You know, that carries a big weight. I think this is where United are going to suffer a bit because they haven't got Champions League football, right? But I think if Arsenal don't go in for him, I can see him going United, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Man United are still, I said it a few weeks ago, whether we like it or not, they're still a big pull. Even as bad as they've been. So for me, your one is, listen, yours is a good deal.
Yeah, mine is a good deal.
Cheap. And I think mine would be a good deal under normal circumstances. You think it's a bad deal?
Only because, and do you know what? I don't necessarily think it's a bad deal.
These players, Enzo, like you said there, Enzo Fernandez, all these you're paying 105 million for. This guy's the goal scorer is where you pay the premium money.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what? The thing that people might forget, they say, and I'm guilty of it in this video, how many goals does that equate to in the Prem? But let's not forget, this guy put the hard yards in at Coventry. Yeah. And the Championship, in my opinion, is in the top 5 hardest leagues to play in world football. No, there's more games. I think he scored 30. We'll get it up here. He scored 38 in 91 for Coventry, and that's across a 2-year period. So he was prolific. He has already done it in England. Yes, he had a bit of a nothing spell at Brighton. He went to Swansea, didn't score in 11 games. But that Coventry period, that's what's got him the move to Sporting. And then it was, can you carry that on? He's doubled what he was doing at Coventry. And now it's only right that he gets his chance again to come back to England and see if he can do it on the biggest stage in the Prem. So, but I think 85. I do think 85. I think 100's a little bit of a stretch. Right. I understand what you're saying, comparing it to Enzo, but I'll go 85. Let us know in the chat, is that a good deal or a bad deal? And the last one that we have for the show today, Benjamin Sesko. Right, we had to chuck both of the options into this one. In the last season, a modest 13 goals and 5 assists, 4 goals in the Champions League in 8 matches. But the bonus here is that he's 22. You've got 5 years. And it really is, you have to think about this for long and hard because, yes, you've got the proven goal scorer in Gyokeres, but that 5 years, and I know the top teams almost don't care, just get him in now. If he's good enough now at 27, we'll get a good 5 years out of him. But at 22, you could get 10 years out of someone. Benjamin Sesko, when you're talking about him on AFTV, what do you compare him to that's out there at the minute?
He could be
6'5" as well, by the way. This fella
could
touch the wood.
Be another Isak, right? Because when Isak went into Newcastle, he didn't have a prolific record either, but he seemed to have all the attributes to become a top player, and he's become that top player. And I think it's the same sort of thing with this guy. He's got all the attributes to become a top player. He's not there yet, but he can become that top player. So his ceiling as I hate that word ceiling, what they use all the time now, his ceiling's very high. Very, very high. But he's yet to prove himself as a prolific goal scorer. But you can see his ceiling is high.
Do you know who he reminds me of a little bit? Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah, Vlahovic.
6'4".
Yep.
Both from the Balkans. Hasn't really lit it up since he left Fiorentina. I know he's gone to Juventus.
Yeah, I'd say Vlahovic actually had a stronger record.
He's 25.
Yeah, Vlahovic actually had a stronger record before he went to Juventus because he was banging in the goals. As a Fiorentina,
yeah.
Right? Whereas Sesko hasn't been prolific. But as I said, very similar to Isak in attributes, etc. Good on the ball. Has probably a better all-round game than Gyokeres, but doesn't have the goals.
Yeah. So far in his career, it's 210 matches for Sesko, 90 goals. But that comes across the Austrian second division, the Austrian league. And then he's been in the Bundesliga with Leipzig. He was at Red Bull. He must love Red Bull, by the way, this fellow. He must be on the energy drinks. But yeah, 21 goals in all comps last season. Scored a few in Europe as well, as I said. So I don't think it's that bad at all, and I know the age is definitely in his favour if you compare him to the other options. So, as the Arsenal fan, let's get your take first, and then I'll judge mine off that. So we've got 20 down, 40 down, 60 down. Oh, and there's a cheeky Brucey bonus on the top of a 5 mil. Do you know what? I'll go 20, 40. And I'll go 60. And I think all bets are off after that for me.
65. His ceiling is high. And you've got to look at that, you know what I mean? And again, he's a striker. And strikers are premium. You pay premium for that. Arsenal probably, if they get him, they have to pay more than that for him. But to me, 65 will represent, for me, what I think would be a good fee for him. That's about the same sort of fee what Spurs paid for Solanke last season, right? And Solanke had actually scored a lot of goals that season. Solanke was the most expensive signing, I think, last season, right? I think 65, but obviously because they know Arsenal's position, because they know a lot of teams are looking for a striker, they'll probably get more for him. But 65, I think, is the right price for him.
Yeah, if you compare that to Dominic Solanke, played 27 times in the Prem, only got 9 goals, couldn't hit double figures, but did hit 5 goals in Europe as well, so which took him up.
That's this season, but the season
before that, he got 21.
Yeah, which is more than what Sesko scored.
Yeah, and the
so
season
that's what I'm saying.
That, 29 in the Championship.
Yeah, so I feel 65 is reasonable.
I think it is as well. I'll go with 60 just to be a little bit different. I think if you get Sesko for 60, that does represent a good deal. And I know we're talking about pressure with Flo Wirtz, but if you did get a Sesko in, who would be almost the benchmark, the hallmark signing, the centre forward that's supposed to take you to win the league, because let's be honest, Arsenal need a striker not to come second again, not to win a League Cup, it's to win and outscore Liverpool strikers and Man City strikers and Newcastle strikers. So if he doesn't do that straight away, boy, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him if you bring him in.
Lot of pressure.
Loads of pressure.
Lot of pressure.
Can he deal with it?
Yeah, that's it. That's to us to find out, to be confirmed.
To be determined.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we've gone through Florian Wirtz coming in at £127 million. That's what Liverpool have allegedly paid.
Waste of money.
Ryan Cherky, well, we won't be saying that when he's lifting the trophy up again. Ryan Cherky to Man City, 34 million. I mean, that is
steal. For
all the business, the bad business that Man City do, that's could potentially at the end of the season, we could be saying that's bargain of the season. So unreal figure there. Rinders, 46.5 is what they've brought him in for. We think that's a little bit inflated. Ait Nouri to Man City for 31. It could be deflated. It could actually be a little bit more.
31's a good. That's the right figure.
I think I went for 45 on
45,
that one.
you overpaid again.
You've overpaid again. You'll never sing that. Victor Gyokeres, 67 mil. You've gone in at 100. Thank God Robbie's not in charge of the old purse strings.
That's what I think he's worth.
Yeah, and what do you actually think Arsenal will pay?
They won't want to pay. They won't want to pay more than 70.
Yeah, And I've gone for around the 60 mark. And then Sesko as well, we've just done there. I reckon he's about 60. Robbie reckons 65. So let us know in the chat. Good deal, bad deal. We're closed for a session today, but we will be back with more transfer stuff as the season progresses. Obviously, the window is shut technically right now, Rob, as the Club World Cup comes around. But we will be back next week for much more of the same. Good show.
Good show.
Yeah. So how much for AGT's new contract is that? Have we gone up a couple? So there's one. He's going like that to check if there's two notes stuck together. Cheeky, yeah. Loyalty I've showed.
That's for you.
150 quid.
And that's for your dog, Gus.
That's for that's for Gus. That doesn't even cover Gus's food for a week, mate. Big him up though. It's his birthday yesterday. Right, smash our like button. Get your comments in. Are we talking rubbish? Right, are we deluded? Let us know in the chat. Or have we got a bit of knowledge between us? Probably not. Right, well, I'm speaking for myself. Smash our like button. Get your comments in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.